Hare Krishna. So in last class we were discussing that every one of us is searching for happiness. You'll see, if we eat good food, very tasty, delicious food. Why? Because we want to get happiness. We want to feel happy after eating delicious food. If we wear nice clothes, we dress up nicely, and when we look ourselves in the mirror after dressing up nicely, so we do all of those things because we want to become happy, right? If we travel somewhere, if we want to enjoy something, we do it for the sake of getting happiness in return. So every being, whatever he or she is doing, he is doing it for the sake of getting happiness in return. But we also discussed that these things are not the real happiness. These things, the outcome which we receive from these things, it is not considered to be a true happiness. So moving forward, let's see. In this way, there are different degrees of happiness, yet all of them, what is the highest happiness? Sri Krishna tells Arjuna, Sukham atyantikam yattad buddhigrayam atindriyam veti yatra na chaivayam sthitas chalati tatvatah. In that joyous state, samadhi, one is situated in boundless transcendental happiness, realized through transcendental senses. Established thus, one never departs from the truth. Bhagavad Gita 6.21. Buddhi means intelligence. One has to be intelligent if he wants to enjoy. Animals do not have really developed intelligence and so cannot enjoy life as a human being can. The hands, the nose, the eyes, the other sense organs and all the bodily parts may be present on a dead man, but he cannot enjoy. Why not? The enjoying energy, the spiritual spark has left, and therefore the body has no power. This is really interesting point. Now, see, we have learned one thing so far, that a being can experience happiness with his senses. Is it not? But if you will see a dead body, what are the senses? First of all, what are the senses? We have 5 senses. That is taste, smell, sight, hear and touch. These are the 5 senses. Okay. So basically we hear from our ears, we smell from our nose, we taste from our tongue, we see things with our eyes, and we touch from our hands or from our skin, whatever. So now if you'll see a dead body, you will see all these senses that dead body also has. But can he enjoy the happiness? Can he enjoy the sense of pleasure? He can't experience joy. Why? Because his consciousness no more exists. Is it not? Now, what is that consciousness? It is that soul. So now, are you able to see this thing? a particular body that any being has got is basically his costume, because he is not this body, he is a soul. So basically this body is just a costume. And one more thing we should notice here, that this body is not enjoying anything. Because we are not this body, then how can this body can enjoy something? Just like we wear clothes, right? For example, if we are feeling cold, so we will wear sweater. So that sweater, that dress will not feel any coolness, right? Same way, this body is also a costume which is gifted by Lord to a being. So this body does not experience any happiness. So Srila Prabhupada is telling same thing here, that you will see a dead man, a dead body. You will see that dead man also has the eyes, the nose, the hands, everything. But because that spiritual spark has left, the body has no power to experience any kind of joy. If one looks further into the matter with a little intelligence, he can understand that it was not the body that was enjoying at all, but the small spiritual spark that was within. What does that small spiritual spark mean here? The soul. Now clear? That body. You just think once, if that body was enjoying something, then that dead body is still laying on the floor. Then why is that not responding? That dead body is not responding now, because that spiritual spark, the soul has left the body. So that body was not enjoying at all. Although one may think that he is enjoying by the bodily sense organs, the real enjoyer is that spiritual spark, the soul. So now you're able to grab this point, that we are not this body. We might have heard this in theory many times, but now see, are you able to relate with this, that really we are not this body? If we were a body, then that body is still laying on that floor, that dead body, then why that dead body is not responding? Because soul has left that body. The spark always has the potency of enjoyment, but it is not always manifest due to being covered by the material tabernacle. Although we may not be aware of it, it is not possible for the body to experience enjoyment without the presence of the spiritual spark. So basically, what is to be understood here is that soul is spiritual, but this body is material. Now spiritual means adhyatmic in Hindi. So basically spiritual is something, adhyatmic is something which is eternal, which is permanent and which cannot be destroyable. And material means opposite of the spiritual. Material means bhautik in Hindi. So bhautik is always temporary. Material is always temporary and destroyable. So because of this material covering, we don't understand this thing, that we are soul, and soul has the only potency to enjoy, to experience the bliss. So, see, it's written here, although we may not be aware of it, it is not possible for the body to experience enjoyment without the presence of this spiritual spark. Whether we are aware of this or not, but it is not possible that if there is no, there is absence of this spiritual spark, means soul, then body will not be able to enjoy. Body is not enjoying, but if we see, we will think that body is enjoying, because people often think that we are body. That's why you will see that how passionately people are absorbed in nourishing their body, only their body, because they think that they are this body, and they do not work on their spiritual growth, not at all, because they think that we are this body, we have to nourish our body, we only have to take care of our body, because they think that we are this body. But reality is something else. If a man is offered the dead body of a beautiful woman, will he accept it? No, because the spiritual spark has moved out of the body. Not only was it enjoying within the body, but it was maintaining the body. When that spark leaves, the body simply deteriorates. So here one example has been given, that suppose there is a very beautiful lady, very beautiful, she looks so beautiful, her features are very fine, she looks like angel of heaven, her body. So if suppose you were asked to marry that lady, and basically her body is very beautiful, no doubt, but it's dead, there is no consciousness in her body, will you marry that? Will you accept it? You will see people will be afraid of even going nearby to that body, no matter how beautiful is that body, no matter at all. But once that spiritual spark, that soul has left the body, no one will even like to see the face of that beautiful woman, no matter how beautiful she looks. Once she left the soul, once the soul has left the body, no one will be interested to even look at the face of that beautiful woman. Is it not? So from this point, what we are understanding is that this material body has no value until soul does not exist in it. It has no value. No one will give even $2 of this body if there is no any consciousness in this body. No matter how beautiful, how good looking this body is, but if it has no consciousness, it has no value. It is just useless. It follows that if the spirit is enjoying, it must have its senses also. Otherwise, how can it enjoy? The Vedas confirm that the spirit soul, although atomic in size, is the actual enjoying agent. It is not possible to measure the soul, but that is not to say that it is without measurement. An object may seem to us to be no bigger than a point, and may seem to have no length or width. But when we perceive it under a microscope, we can see that it has both length and width. Similarly, the soul also has its dimensions, but we cannot perceive them. Now, this is really very, very important point to be understood. People have many misconceptions about the size of the soul. Many people think that our soul is formless. It has no form. But it is also false assumption. Our soul do have a form. It is very fine in its measurement is very, very, very much fine. This much fine that even one cannot see or perceive it. But that doesn't mean that it is formless. Now see, Srila Prabhupada ji is explaining this with very beautiful example. See, what's that? When we buy a suit or dress, it is made to fit the body. The spiritual spark must have form, otherwise, how is it the material body has grown to accommodate it? We just learned this thing that this body is actually a costume for our soul. Right? So, you only tell me, when you visit a designer, or let's say you visit a tailor, a normal local tailor, and you ask him that please design or please sew a nice dress for me. I want to wear a nice dress. I have a particular occasion, so I need to wear it on that occasion. So, your body do have a form. Then only you can wear a nice dress on it. Right? You see, everything around you has a form. It has different size, different length, different width, different height, but it do have a form. Same way, our body has a form. That's why we can wear clothes on it, because our body do have a form. Same way, this body is costume for our soul. So, now, are you able to catch it? Our soul also have form. That's why we can wear this material body on it. Are you able to catch it? The spiritual spark must have form. Otherwise, how is it the material body has grown to accommodate it? So the conclusion is that the spiritual spark is not impersonal. It is an actual person. God is an actual person. And the spiritual spark, being a fragmental part of God, is also a person. Clear? We do have a form. We are not impersonal. Same way, God is also not formless. You will see many people have misconceptions about this also, that God is formless, God is nirvishesh, nirankar. You might have heard these words. These all are false assumptions. You just see now how beautifully God has created this whole world. You can see different forms are there around you. So, the person, God, who has created this world full of different forms, how can he be formless? Just understand this thing. Behind every design, there is a designer. Just see, if you see your cell phone, it might have design. It is a design, okay? It is a designed cell phone. So it might have designed by a designer, right? You might see laptop, or you might see fan, almirah, whatever. It these all are designs, different designs. So there must be a designer behind every design. So you see, this whole world has been created by God. This is a design. So God is the designer. He is an actual person. And we are souls. We are being a fragmental part of Him. We are part and parcels of God. We are also person, actual person. If the Father has personality and individuality, the Son also has them. And if the Son has them, we can conclude that the Father has them. So how can we, as sons of God, assert our personality and individuality and at the same time deny them to our Father, the Supreme Lord? Are you able to catch this point? If you see that a man is very beautiful, he's very smart, he's very good looking. So definitely his son will also be a good looking boy. He will also be very intelligent and smart. So if suppose if you're looking at a boy, a young boy, you are looking at him, you will see that he's very smart, he's very intelligent. So you will definitely conclude that his father might also be a very good looking like him. His father might also be very intelligent like him. So same way, how can we conclude that we have no form or our God has no form? As sons of God, assert our personality and individuality and at the same time deny them to our Father, the Supreme Lord. So this is something indigestible. See how beautifully Srila Prabhupada ji has explained here this thing. Isn't this just amazing? So, are you able to catch this thing that we are not formless? God is not formless. God is not a light. We are not a light. We are not simply a spark. We are not simply a light. We are an actual person. We are the actual person. God is also an actual person. Okay, we do have form. Moving forward, Atindriya means that we have to transcend these material senses before we can appreciate real happiness. Now, what does that mean? That for experiencing real happiness, we will have to go beyond these material senses. See, our nature is, we are soul, so we can't get satisfied with these material things. All the pleasures that we experience through our material senses are these are basically artificial joy, artificial happiness. Because our nature is, we are a spiritual soul, right? We are eternal. So how can we get satisfied with these material, with this material happiness, this fake happiness? We are real. So we will only get satisfied by experiencing real happiness. Ramante yogino nante satyanand chid atmani. The yogis who are aspiring after spiritual life are also tasting enjoyment by focusing on the super soul within. If there is no pleasure, if there is no enjoyment, then what is the point of going too much trouble, going to so much trouble to control the senses? What kind of pleasure are the yogis relishing if they are taking so much trouble? that pleasure is anant, endless. So you see, you might have heard that yogis do lots of tapasya, right? They do lots of sacrifices. Why do they sacrifice? Why do they sacrifice? Why they are taking so much trouble? You will see many people will eat only simple food. They will not eat any fancy food or something. Or you will see many people will do lots of sacrifices. Basically, they will not engage. They will not get engaged in any fancy things. They do lots of sacrifices. Why? For tasting the enjoyment, for experiencing the real happiness. You only tell me if sacrifice, any type of sacrifice, if someone is doing, if he will not get any big accomplishment from it. You might have heard that if we want to get something, then we have to lose something for it. To get something big, we have to lose some small things. You might have heard this, right? So you only tell people who do lots of sacrifices, are they fools? No, they are not fools. They know if we will sacrifice these little things now, then we will get big, we will achieve big accomplishments in future. Let's say people, you will see lots of people, they sacrifice their sleep, right? Morning, they wake up early. They sacrifice their sleep. Why? Because they know that if we will wake up early, we will be able to do work more nicely. We will be able to do work more creatively, more productively. They sacrifice their sleep for the sake of getting some big accomplishments, right? So people are not fools. These yogis are not fools who take so much of trouble, do lots of sacrifices. They are not fools that they will do these sacrifices and they will not get anything in return. No one is that fool. Everybody is very much intelligent. You'll see people want to do very less and they want to gain very much. They act very smartly. So no one is that fool. So just see what Srila Prabhupada ji is trying to explain here, that what kind of pleasure are the yogis relishing if they are taking so much trouble? That pleasure is anant, endless. So basically, they are trying to get real happiness, the real pleasure, which is anant, which is endless. Endless means which has no end, which is not limited. You will see every material thing, just see around you, it has some limits. Even we can't go beyond our limits. Just for the sake, if we want to sleep, then we can't sleep unlimited, or we can't eat unlimited. We can't do anything, beyond our limitations. But experiencing real happiness, experiencing that pleasure which is endless, it is possible. Why? Because we are spirit soul and we are eternal. Eternal means which has no limits. We are in this material world. That's why we are bound to act in, we are bound to act in limit. Yes, we are bound to act, and we are bound to act in limits, because we seek our pleasure in material things. But we are not this material body. We are spirit soul, and spirit soul is eternal. See, it's written, the spirit soul is eternal, and the Supreme Lord is eternal. Therefore, reciprocation of their loving exchanges is eternal. One who is actually intelligent will refrain from the flickering sensual enjoyment of this material body and fix his enjoyment in spiritual life. His participation in spiritual life with the Supreme Lord is called Ras Leela. Very, very amazing point. So see, we have understood one thing here, that we are souls. Soul is eternal. Lord is also eternal. And our loving exchanges from God is also eternal. Okay? So an intelligent man will not, he will not put his mind, he will not waste his energy in these flickering pleasures, these flickering sensual enjoyment. He will not, waste his energy in these temporary things. Instead, he will try to fix his enjoyment in his spiritual life. Okay? So, these are the symptoms of an intelligent person. You only tell me that if I tell you that I will give you 2 crore rupees for, let's say, for 2 minutes, and then I will snatch it away from you, what will be your reaction? Will you be happy? You will get frustrated. Huh? What? I don't want your 2 crore rupees. You just take it with you. I don't want your 2 crore rupees for 2 minutes. What will I do of your 2 crore rupees for 2 minutes? It's of no use to me. Just get out from here. I don't want your rupees. You'll say like that, right? Because that's the reality. So just now just relate this thing with this point, that the energy, we are putting our energy in these temporary things which exist for few moments. That's it. So, is it not foolishness to see our happiness in these flickering things which will just go away in some time, which will just vanish away in some time? Is it not foolishness? So an intelligent person will invest his time in his spiritual life to experience that real happiness. We have often heard of Krishna's Ras Leela with the cowherd girls in Vrindavan. That is not like ordinary exchanges that take place between these material bodies. Rather, it is an exchange of feelings through spiritual bodies. One has to be somewhat intelligent to understand this. For a foolish man who cannot understand what real happiness is, seeks happiness in this material world. So this is like, this is practical thing, that anybody who is seeking pleasure, who is seeking happiness in fake things, he will be a foolish man for sure. We just discussed 2 crore rupees example. if that person agrees, he will be, suppose if I say him that I will give you 2 crore rupees for 2 minutes. If he becomes so much excited, oh wow, I will get 2 crore rupees for 2 minutes. This is really a nice thing. This is really a big accomplishment of my life. So will he not be called a foolish man? People will laugh at him. Oh, come on, you're getting so much excited, so much happy for this flickering pleasure, flickering enjoyment. You're so foolish. So one should understand this thing. Moving forward, in India, there is the story of a man who did not know what sugar cane was and was told that it was very sweet to chew. Oh, what does it look like? He asked. It looks like a bamboo road, someone said. So the foolish man began to chew all kinds of bamboo roads. How can he begin to experience the sweetness of sugarcane? So, see, it's just brilliant example Srila Prabhupada ji is giving. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. See what Srila Prabhupada ji is telling here. That a man was told that he has not, in his past, he has never tasted any sweet thing. He is unaware about the sweet taste, that how any food item can taste sweet. He's unaware about this thing. So now he's told that if you will chew sugar cane, then you will see that it tastes very, very sweet. You will feel very, very nice after chewing that sugar cane. Now he was unaware about the, even he was not aware that how a sugar cane looks like. He was not even aware about this thing. So he just asked that, means if someone told him that you should definitely chew sugarcane. So he got so much excited. So he just asked that how a sugarcane looks like. He was told that it looks like a bamboo road. So that's it. He just heard this thing and then he just ran away and he started chewing the bamboo roads. But he never tasted any sweetness after chewing those bamboo roads. And how's that possible? You only tell me how one can chew. If he will chew a bamboo road, how will he taste the sweetness of the sugar cane? That sweetness of the sugar cane. Is it not possible, right? Just like that, similarly, we are trying to get happiness and pleasure, but we are trying for them by chewing this material body. Therefore, there is no happiness and no pleasure. So just like that person was unaware about the sweetness of the sugar cane, and he was just chewing the bamboo rods and he was just assuming that I will experience the sweetness by chewing these bamboo rods. So it was his false assumption actually. Same way, we are trying to get happiness and pleasure because our nature is Satchidanand. We always want to experience happiness. Nothing wrong in that. But we are trying to chew bamboo rods. What does that mean? We are seeking happiness in these material things. And that's why we are not experiencing any happiness. Isn't it? You will see everyone, almost everyone around you, you will see is frustrated for some reason. That can be any reason, but that person is definitely, he or she is upset or is frustrated for different reasons. Why? Because they are seeking happiness in wrong things, these material things. So there is no happiness and there is no pleasure in these things actually. For the time being, there may be some little feeling of pleasure, but that is not actual pleasure, for it is temporary. It is like a show of lightning which may see flashing in the sky. That may momentarily seem like lightning, but the real lightning is beyond that. Because a person does not really know what happiness is, he deviates from real happiness. So you will see lightnings in the sky, lightnings of the crackers. The fireworks are small objects that are lit to entertain people on special occasions. They burn in a bright, attractive and often noisy way. So you will see they appear in the sky for few seconds and then they just go away. Right? So same way these after putting all the energy in these material things, people might think that they are experiencing some kind of pleasure, but it is like those fireworks, those lightning crackers. They are same as those lightning crackers which just appears for a few seconds and then they just go away. Right? So because a person does not really know what happiness is, he deviates from real happiness. He's unaware about these things. See how confidential this knowledge is? Confidential means this is very profound knowledge. But how Srila Prabhupada ji is explaining it in a very nice way. We haven't even seen things like this before. Have you ever thought about these things before like this? What a perception. Just amazing. So this should be understood. We will continue our discussion in our next class now. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Bol.